Egyptian deity god with the Samaritan female. But, you know, we're trying to figure that one out because there were no Europeans in the time of that. So that means obviously there was some vexation there, and that's true. So that really, that's something to think about. But at the same time, back to the movie Mummy 3, The 13th Gate, I've always said and told you last time that our women are gatekeepers. And being gatekeepers, so is this female. And she has a book. The king has powers. And he has powers where he shows, where he has this control of the metals and the elements, which is air, water, fire, earth, and the metals. Now, that's what he controlled. So, to get it back, he had to deal with certain things. And the things that he had to do to get it back was this. He had to have a priest, a warrior priest, and that was this general, who had an elixir. And the elixir is a liquid that was blue. But the elixir, just like the movie Blade, had to have a drop of the blood of the one who was pure and innocent at heart. They didn't say the myth is virgin. You could be an evil, twisted demon and be a virgin. Just because you don't have sex don't mean you're nice. It just means you chose not to have sex. You can still be a mean old doggy dog, and that's a fact. And maybe sex will help you out. Might do. Hey, maybe that's why you mean. I don't know. Okay. Now, in where we are with that, the female being the keeper of the gate, the thing is that this guy had to have that number one thing, which was this elixir. Then he had to have blood of the innocent and pure heart. We'll just put the innocent. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, that's my abbreviation of innocent. And then we'll put / pure. All right. All right. Okay. Then the third thing that they needed was the fourth thing they needed, and the fifth thing they needed now. Here is where it gets crazy. The sixth thing they needed was sacrifice. And the seventh thing they needed was, and it's not on here, we'll put it over here, and that'll be 7, is restoration or renewal. Remember the other mummy? Where he was all that and he was being summoned. He had to go through where the priest and his army came through, and they all were wearing red, and they was on this train. And the men, they said they didn't want to look in the box, and they said, come on in this room. And there were 3 of them. Understand that. 3 of them. And he was a mummy, and he was all petrified and all that other madness. But then when they was in that room with him, he took their soul and essence of being from them. And he took it in from the mouth. Whoa, you know that thing they do in Hollywood. I understand that. So those 3 began to take on and gave this individual essence. Now, That's part of the sacrifice, but not entirely. That was part of the renewal and restoration. But he needed to get complete renewal. He needed a sacrifice. And most of the time, they need a female who represents purity and a spirit, a heart of innocence. Not a virgin. We have been programmed that a virgin is the magnificent female or male. It means that that individual has not had sex. Okay. And actually, in the scriptures where it says virgin, it doesn't really say that in 90% of the scriptures. A lot of things that are in the scriptures, and you have it in the transliterated by the translators, are outside of what actually is, and they are reconstructive scriptures. They're out of order, and once again, we know from our book that they do not follow the order, because if you did follow the order, you can make your own world. But all the things they're telling you is that they allow them to make the world, but you can't, and then they, just to say everything's cool, they write in there, don't make no changes to our things that we changed. Okay? Because that makes you a sinner. Oh. All right, now. So the elixir, wrapped in, I believe, copper or brass, was there with the blue illuminated water. But you had to put a drop of blood in there. Then the stone. The stone was blue. The stone was a blue diamond. It was huge. Huge, like my hand, huge. The book. Now, all these things that I'm showing you, they show you in these clips and extra trailers that is in Warner and all this other stuff to set up the movie. And the book. Now, for those who have not seen the movie, this is, I tell you this, so I do this with care, because I do not want to interfere with the plot of the movie. It's a well put together movie.
Hey,
yes?
Well, just, am I the only one in here thinking I can care less about having entertainment value out of the movie? I want to know what's going on with it.
All right. We're going to bring it on now. I have been requested to bring it on. All right, here we go. In this understanding of what's happening in Mummy 3, the 13th gate, she is the principal who is of the good nature. She is what they will call in the Bible, they call like a witch, like the witch of so-called Endor. And that's not true either. The witch is not the name of who she was, nor was the area called Endor. You got to remember something that's very important. There are no vowels in the Hebrew language. There are no J's in the Hebrew language. So let's wake it up here. So they knew that she had an area that was magnificent. And in this area of magnificence, they knew that she was there.